Hi, I'm Melanie. Welcome to your beginner Ashtanga-Inspired class today. Let's get started in a comfortable seated position. Just taking a long deep breath in and a long letting go exhalation. And just take a moment to let the lips close lightly and begin to find your Ujjayi breath. Breathing gently in and out through the nose with the mouth lightly closed. Take a moment to notice the ground supporting you. Visualize your nice straight spine from the base of the spine all the way up through the crown of the head. Let your mind follow the waves of the Ujjayi breath. Letting your awareness move to Mula Bandha, that gentle root lock at the base of the spine. Traveling up to Uddiyana Bandha, roughly 2 fingers below the navel. Feeling the energy move upwards within the body. Again, moving to a nice straight spine as you lift the chest and let the chin drop down to the hollow of the throat, engaging Jalandhara Bandha, the chin lock, stimulating into the thyroid and the throat chakra. Remembering the importance of the Ujjayi breath. The Ujjayi breath gives the mind a place of focus. Breathing in and breathing out. Just slowly let that chin lock release. Lift your gaze up. Try to keep the Ujjayi breath. Stretch your legs out, bounce into the knees, and bring yourself up to a standing position. Set yourself up in Samastiti, remembering that the foundation for all our standing poses is our feet. Keep the outside edges of your feet parallel. Surya Namaskara A. Inhale, lift your arms, lift your gaze. Exhale, fold the body forward. If your hands don't go to the floor, you can place them on the shins. As you inhale, lift the hips, lengthen the spine. On an exhalation, place the hands on the floor, step back through plank, bringing the knees to the ground, tops of the feet to the floor, lower through chaturanga. Inhale, lift to upward dog, thighs down or thighs up. Exhale, tuck the toes, send the hips up and back to downward dog. Give your body time to adjust to downward dog, perhaps walking it out. Remember, if the back or hamstrings are bothering you, move your feet a little farther apart and soften the knees. If the shoulders are bothering you, widen the hands. Feel the Ujjayi breath. On an inhalation, bring your gaze and your feet to your hands. You can take as many small steps as you can, or get there how you can. On an exhalation, fold forward. Inhaling, coming all the way up, letting the shoulders soften. Exhale, Samastiti. We'll repeat that 2 more times. Inhale, arms and gaze. Exhale, fold the body forward. Inhale, lift the hips, roll the gaze forward. Exhale, place your hands on the floor, step back to plank, bring the knees down if you need to, bend the elbows, lower through. Tops of the feet on the floor, coming to upward dog, breathing, tucking the toes, rolling back to downward dog. Long, full, deep breath. Remember, the idea behind this practice is that it's meant to be a healing practice, and the only way it becomes healing if we remember to practice kindness to ourselves and to our body. If you're finding something is causing you pain, there are always ways to modify, or you can come to your knees, put your head on your fists, and take some breaths in child's pose. On your next inhalation, bring your feet to your hands. Exhale as you fully fold. Inhale, coming all the way up, shoulders down. Exhale, Samastiti. Last time, inhale, arms and gaze. Exhale as you fold forward. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, step back, lower through chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Remembering that a locked body is not a strong body, so find a place where you can practice strength and ease. Don't confuse ease with easy. Challenge yourself without hurting yourself. The mind rides the waves of the breath, letting the mind slow down. Thinking Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Inhale, bring the gaze and the feet back to the hands. Exhale, fully fold. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, Samastiti. Surya Namaskara B. Knees bend. Remember, keep the knees and feet equal distance apart. Arms come up, gaze goes up. Inhale. Exhale, fold the body forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, step back, lower through chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. The left foot pivots and the right foot comes forward between the hands. Coming up as you inhale, drawing front hip back, back thigh forward, keeping the shoulders down. Exhale as you come back down. Back knee can lower, front knee can lower, body lowers. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, rolling back. Right foot pivots, left foot comes forward. Inhale as you come up. Keep the hands on the hips if the shoulders drop. Exhale, coming back down through chaturanga into upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Remember your options. Coming to child's pose if you need to. Keep the breath. Remember the importance of the breath. It is truly the most important part of the practice, and your breath tells your story. Often the hardest part of this practice is knowing when to back off. On an inhalation, bring your feet towards your hands. Exhale as you fold. Bend the knees, knees and feet parallel. Inhale, lifting arms and gaze. Exhale, Samastiti. We'll repeat this 2 more times. Knees bend. Inhale, arms and gaze. Exhale, fold the body forward. Remember, if you need your hands on your shins or on your thighs, that's where you go. An exhalation, step back, lower through chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog, opening the chest. Exhale, downward dog. Left foot pivots, right foot comes forward. Front hip back, back thigh forward, shoulders down. Exhalation brings you all the way back down through chaturanga. Upward dog, downward dog. Right foot pivots, left foot comes forward. Inhaling, coming up. Exhaling, bringing yourself back down. Keeping the breath. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. By now, you should have a sense of how your body's feeling today. Remembering that if we repeat the same thing over and over, we get the same results. So you may need to move your feet farther back, move your hands wider, explore. Don't be afraid of a bit of movement. Let the breath tell you your story. On an inhalation, bring the feet towards the hands. Exhale as you fold. Bend the knees. Inhale, lift the arms, lift the gaze. Remember, take the arms to where it's comfortable. Exhale, Samastiti. Last time. Inhale, arms and gaze. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Keep the neck with its natural curve. Exhale, step back. Lower through Chaturanga. Inhale to upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Left foot pivots, right foot comes forward. Inhaling as you come up, front knee above the front heel. Exhaling, coming all the way back down through Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Right foot pivots, left comes forward. Breathing in, shoulders down, neck long. Breathing out. Try not to let the head hang down. All the way through Chaturanga to upward dog, opening the chest. Exhale, downward dog. Follow the rhythm of your breath. Spread your fingers wide. Let the shoulders roll apart. The inner upper arms draw slightly inwards. The legs are strong without being locked. There's space within the body, space within the mind. Long, full, deep breaths. Inhale, gaze and feet to hands. Exhale, fold. Knees bend. Inhale, arms and gaze. Exhale, Samastiti. Padangusthasana, step the feet apart. Bend the knees. Send the hips back. Take the pointer finger and the middle fingers under the big toes. Touch the thumbs to those fingertips. Stay here or bend the elbows. As long as you're not feeling dizzy, you can drop the head down. And if it's a day where you can begin to straighten the legs, begin to straighten the legs. If there's pain in the back or the hamstrings, move the feet a bit farther apart. Let the shoulders draw away from the ears. Let the neck hang freely. Bend the knees, straighten the arms, roll the gaze forward. Padahastasana, lift the feet, slide the hands under the feet, bend the knees, bend the elbows, and stay here. Or drop the head, lift the seat, bend the elbows, open the shoulders, keep the neck free. Long, full, deep breaths, exploring the position of feet to hands. Remember, where there's pain, we need to change. Make the adjustments you need to make this a healing practice for you. Bend the knees, straighten the arms, place the hands to the hips, and inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, step back to Samastiti. Uttita Trikonasana, as you inhale, step out wide to the right. Turn your right foot out, your left foot in, square the hips as much as you can, extend the arms. Over the right leg, lower the arm. You can bring that left hand to the hip, or if there's not shoulder problems, you can take the fingertips up. Look up if the neck doesn't hurt. Look down if it does. Or look straight ahead. Lift the arches of the feet. Connect top and bottom half of the body right there at the core, at the center of the body. As you inhale, use your legs to bring you up. Adjust your feet, right foot in, left foot out, hips point relatively straight. Extend over the left leg, lower the left arm, lift the right unless you need to modify the shoulder. Look up if you can, keep the neck long. Remember, the head is a heavy object, and if you're letting it hang down, it puts a lot of additional strain on the neck and shoulders. The front leg is strong without being locked, and the breath is present. Breathing in and breathing out. Rising up from the arches of your feet as you inhale, moving to Parivrita, or the rotation. Bring your hands to the hips, bring your left foot in, turn your right foot out, and adjust at the foundation, which is your feet. Make sure the hips are pointing straight ahead. Go halfway forward, soften the right knee. You can take the left hand to the outside of the right leg. The right hand can be placed in the low back. It's front hip back, back thigh forward, rotating from the low back. Your gaze is to the side or to the floor. If it's possible to extend the arm up, you can extend the arm up. On an inhalation, you bring yourself back up to standing. And as you exhale, you repeat the same thing on the other side. Slowly coming forward, taking the right to the outside of the left, left in the low back, keeping the legs strong, keeping the hips squared. Take yourself into the position that is comfortable for you, keeping the foundation strong. An inhalation brings you all the way up. Exhale, step back to the front of the mat into Samastiti. As you inhale, step out wide on your mat. Right foot turns out, left foot turns in, right knee bends. Bring the elbow to the thigh, bring the left arm up and over, widen the stance if you need to. Think about the hips being relatively even. You can press the arm into the leg or the leg into the arm. If the shoulder hurts, keep the arm in the low back or hand to hip. Your drishti is up if the neck is not giving you problems and the breath is present. An inhalation brings you back up. As you exhale, you pivot your feet and you repeat the same thing on the other side. Adjusting from the foundation, moving up the structure, moving to the place where you have both strength and flexibility. Let your breath tell you your story. An inhalation brings you up. As you exhale, once more, you rotate your feet. Right foot straight ahead, left foot at a slight angle. Bend that right knee. Keep the knee above the heel or ankle. Draw that hip back. Taking the body forward, noticing the hips, bringing the left hand to the outside of the right leg, the right hand behind. You can stay here. You can bring the elbow to the outside of the knee and place the hands in a prayer position. Do what feels best within your body. An inhalation brings you up. As you exhale, you change your feet. Coming down to the other side, set the foundation, go up the structure, square the hips, reset the foundation, dropping down, moving into the twist. Use your breath. You can always bring the elbow to the outside of the knee, palm to palm, bringing the shoulders apart, squaring the hips. An inhalation brings you all the way up. Exhale, step back to the front of your mat. Samastiti. Step out wide to the right, making sure the outside edges of your own feet are parallel. Bend the knees, place the hands on the hips, so try to bend from your hip creases. The position of your hands when you get to the floor are as though you're flexing your palms, bending your elbows, so shoulder, elbow, elbow, wrist in a nice straight line. So as you step out, outside edges of your feet parallel. If this is enough, elbows on thighs, not dropping your head, stay there. Or if you can lower your arms, move your feet according to what you need, place your hands on the floor, begin to walk your hands back, start lifting your hips, bending your elbows, and moving to what feels right for you today. Remember, if you're feeling dizzy or if you have high or low blood pressure, bending halfway forward is probably enough for you today. Let your shoulders move apart. Same distance between wrists and elbows. On your next inhalation, begin to straighten the arms, roll the gaze forward. Either bend your knees, place your palms on your thighs to come up, or place your hands on the hips and come up as you inhale. Exhale, lower the arms. Inhale, lift the arms parallel to the floor. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, bend the knees, begin to bend at the hip creases. Adjust your foundation, which is your feet, according to what you need. If elbows on thighs without dropping your head down is enough, stay here. If you are able to keep your hands on your hips, drop your glutes, drop your head, and then begin to straighten your legs, do that. Remember, your feet may need to adjust. Try not to lock your legs. Keep your eyes open. Keep your breath even. Either bend your knees, place your palms on your thighs to come up, or keep your hands on the hips and come all the way up. Exhale as you release your arms. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, interlace your hands behind the back. Straighten the arms. Squeeze the shoulder blades lightly together. This is a chest expander position. Begin to bend the knees. You may need to reset your feet, the foundation. Send the hips back. If halfway is enough, stay there. If you prefer, drop the glutes, begin to drop the head, move the arms towards the floor over the head. You may need to reset the foundation. Work with your breath. Keep a smooth neck. Squeeze the shoulder blades lightly, really opening up the chest. Don't take all the weight into your toes. Pick up your 10 toes. Rest them down lightly. Either bend the knees, take the face parallel to the floor, place your hands on your thighs to come up, or if you can, inhale, come all the way up, letting the head be the last thing to come up, and exhale, release the hands to the hips. On an inhalation, lengthen the spine. As you exhale, bend the knees, send the hips back. Either stop here, elbows or palms to thighs, or take the pointer and middle fingers under the big toes, press the toes, touch the thumbs to those fingertips, and bend the knees. You may need to reset your feet. If you're able to drop the glutes and drop the head and begin to lift the hips as you begin to straighten the legs, do that. Otherwise, keep the knees bent. Truly let your body be your guide, and don't move your body into areas that cause you pain. Follow the rhythm of your breath. You can either bend your knees, place the palms or elbows on the thighs to come up, or straighten the arms, send the hips up and back, draw the shoulders out of your ears, place your hands on the hips, and let the next inhalation bring you up. As you exhale, step back to the front of your mat into Samastiti. In the next position, Your hands come behind your back, palm to palm, or knuckle to knuckle, or hold your elbows. From Samastiti, step out to the right. Your right foot points straight ahead. Your left foot's at a slight angle, and your feet are approximately as far apart as the width of your yoga mat. Choose the hand position that works best for you. Begin to go halfway forward, drawing front hip back, back thigh forward. Put a micro bend in the front knee. Stay here if that's enough. If you can continue to lift the hips and go forward, keep your neck in line with your spine. Keep your breath ever present. Unclench the toes, lift the arches of your feet. On your next inhalation, bring yourself all the way up. As you exhale, you turn your feet, you move to the other side. Set the foundation again, your feet go up the structure to the hips. Begin to come forward, front hip back, back thigh forward. If halfway is enough, be content and grateful with your body. If you can continue, a micro bend in the front knee, hips up and back, shoulders in line, breath present. Keep the natural curve of your neck. An inhalation will bring you all the way up. As you exhale, release back to the front of your mat into Samastiti. As you move into balance, if you need to use a wall today, give yourself permission to use a wall. Your weight comes to your left leg, hands can be on the hips, roll to your right toes. If this is your balance today, be happy and content with that. If you can lift the foot off the floor, lift the foot off the floor. Remember, the idea is to heal the body, so try to keep the hips in alignment as much as you can. If you're able to lean forward, hold the back of the thigh, by all means do that. It is a forward fold. This left hand can remain on the hip. You can extend it down the thigh. To go deeper, you may be able to begin to straighten the leg, drawing the shoulders out of the ears. As you inhale, bring yourself all the way back up. Remember, your hip is ball and socket, so move the hip, take the leg out to the right. Your drishti or your hat can turn the opposite direction to the knee, or, depending on the day, look straight ahead. Follow the rhythm of your breath. You may be able to extend the leg a bit higher, but remember, try to keep the hips as even as you can. Again, move the hip in the socket, come back to the center, bow towards that leg. You can straighten the leg if it's a day for that. An inhalation brings you back up to standing. Place your hands on the hips so you have a sense of where your body is in space. Begin to extend the leg, pointing the toes. This is a straight leg with the body, the core of the body engaged. This is a straight leg moving into a back bend without much awareness. If you can move the hip in the socket and extend the leg and point the toes, do that. Shoulders are even, hips are even. Remember, if the quad starts to speak to you, you can always bend the knee and then go back into it. Flex the foot, landing in Samastiti, walk it out, and move to the other side. Weight to the right, lift the left, pay attention to your body. Maybe this is where you can go today. Perhaps you can lift the foot, perhaps you can hook the back of the thigh, move into that forward fold, neck in line with the spine. Go through and see what works for you today, knowing that every time we come to our mat, it's a whole new experience. Let the knee bend. Move the hip in its socket. Take the leg out. Try to keep the hips relatively even, moving straight ahead. Drishti can go the other way or not. If it's a day you can go a bit deeper, just see, where can I go today? Bring it back to the center. Come forward. Follow your breath. Don't be afraid to take more than one breath. Bring yourself back up. Check in with the hips. Extend the leg, point the toes. You can always reset. Move a little higher. Follow the rhythm of that breath. Use your feet, both of them. Flex, bring yourself back down to Samastiti. Walk it out. Bring yourself back to the front of the mat. Inhale as you lift the arms, lift the gaze. Exhale, fold the body forward. Inhale, part way. Exhale, step back. Lower through, chaturanga. Lift to upward dog, opening the front body. Exhale, downward dog. Breathing. Inhale, bring your feet back to your hands. Bend your knees. Knees and feet are equal distance apart. Inhale, coming up, dropping the shoulders. If you're feeling pain in the back or hamstrings, move the feet farther apart. If you're feeling pain in the shoulders, move the arms farther apart, or keep the hands on the hips. Keep the natural curve of your spine and follow the rhythm of your breath. Your drishti rolls up, but not at the expense of the neck. Breathe in. As you exhale, begin to fold the body forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step back. Lower through, chaturanga. Lift to upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Virabhadrasana A. Left foot pivots. Right foot comes forward between the hands. Breathing in as you come up. Reset the foundation, which is your feet. Front hip back, back thigh forward. Knee above heel. Arms up if the neck is not bothering you and the shoulder is not bothering you. Otherwise, gaze straight ahead, hands to the hips. You're given the gift of 5 breaths to go through the body and find that place where there's both ease and strength. On your next inhalation, straighten the leg, turn the feet, and repeat on the other side. Foundationally, start at the feet for standing postures. Set the foundation, go up the structure, and then reset the foundation if necessary. Perhaps you lift the arms on this side, but you didn't on the other. Just truly know what is right for you today. The neck keeps its natural curve. The arches of the feet lift. You press into the little toe side of the back foot, big toe side of the back foot, center of the heel. Same thing on the front foot. On your next inhalation, adjust your feet as you move into warrior 2 position. Front knee above heel. Think about if your shoulders hurt, keep your hands on the hips. Really watch that this isn't happening as much as you can. Try to drop the groin, lift the pelvic floor. Back foot might need to be at 90. It might need to turn in. If the shoulders hurt, don't lift the arms. The gaze goes to the hand over the bent knee. The action is groin drops, pelvic floor lifts, the legs draw towards each other, drawing energetically up this line of the spine. On your next inhalation, straighten the leg, turn the feet, and repeat the same thing on the other side. So as you start going down, adjust the feet. If you find yourself lunging, perhaps the foundation is not in the right place for you. Again, the gaze is to the hand over the bent knee. Your legs draw towards each other. The arches of the feet lift. The arms are in line. The neck is free. And the breath is present. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, you begin to transition back to Chaturanga. Remember, back knee can come down, front knee can come down, and you can lower through. Place the tops of the feet on the floor. Inhale to upward dog. Exhale to downward dog. As we transition to the seated portion of the practice, lift the heels, look forward. You can come down to your knees, cross the ankles, sit back into a seated Dandasana position, and breathe. As you come into Dandasana, remember that this is an Ashtanga-Inspired class. So if you need to use props, I encourage you to sit up on the edge of the blocks so that the hips can lift and the pelvis tips forward. If you're in this position, the way to create change is to allow your body to use the props necessary. The sternum lifts, the chin drops, the shoulders draw lightly down the back. Again, the eyes are open, and often as we come to our seated positions, we tend to forget to use our feet. Use your feet. Spread your toes. If your back hurts, your hamstrings are tight, you may find that you need to bend your knees. Keep the breath. On an inhalation, lift your gaze. As you move into the seated forward fold, again, if your forward fold is like this, sit up on the edge of a block or a blanket, or walk your sit bones or your glutes back. If you bend your knees, you get this rib to thigh connection. This may be your forward fold. Remember, how you grip your feet has a relationship to your shoulders. If your shoulders are in your ears, let them soften down the back. If you can take the pointer fingers around the big toes, touch the thumbs, and open the elbows, you can always go there. In time, you may find that you are able to begin to straighten the legs, keeping the neck in line with the spine. Remember, you often hear the cue of drishti up. You have the ability to roll the eyeballs in the sockets without it looking like this. Keep this natural curve of your spine. On your next inhalation, bring yourself up, and remember, coming up is also hard work. Exhale, release. Place your hands on the floor, cross your legs. You can be here and spark. If a vinyasa is in your practice, move through the vinyasas as you choose to. In the next position, you can bend your knees, place your feet on the floor, keep your heels below your knees, take your hands back, open your chest, and begin to lift your hips. Remember, if your body is sinking in this position, there's no reason to drop your head and create that compression. Lift the hips, keep the neck in line with the spine, only allow the head to drop back if it's a benefit for you. If something's causing you pain, you should question, why do I continue to do this? As you come down, once more, cross the ankles, place the hands on the floor, and do that spark to build that core strength. If a vinyasa is what you need, by all means, go ahead. Stretch the legs out, adjust the glutes, moving into Jana Shishasana A. Left leg is straight, right foot comes in. If it's possible for you to start rolling the top of the foot up, do that, but think the weight should be relatively even on everything that's connected to the ground, and your hips pointing straight ahead. You may find that this is your fold. You may find that you can go a bit deeper. You may find that you need a strap. The left big toe mound points forward. The left hip draws back. There's a slight twist from the low body. Breath is present. An inhalation brings you up. Exhale as you release. The left leg is straight, so as you move through your vinyasas or the sparks, draw the left leg in and then extend. Right leg straight, left foot comes in. Adjust your sit bones, square up the hips, take the body forward. Think about your mat being your own personal mirror, and envision if you were looking in this mirror, your hips would be even as possible, and your shoulders would be at equal height. The neck would have its natural curve, and you would be present within your breath. An inhalation brings you up. Exhale as you release. Right leg is straight this time. Have the right leg in front, which helps even out the hips, alternating which leg is in front. As you move to Ashtanga-Inspired A, your left leg is straight and your right knee bends. So keep in mind that these next two postures are all about hips and shoulders. Try to keep the hips even. You bring the right shoulder to the inside of the right knee. Reset your foundation, which is anything that's on the floor. And if this position here, palm to palm, is enough for you, stay here. For some of you, you may be able to bring the right arm around the right leg, the left hand behind the back, and actually bind the hands. Remember, the wrapping hand, in this case, it's the right hand, holds the left hand. You even out the shoulders, even out the hips. If you find that it would be better to bend the knee, getting the ribs to the thighs, do that. Keep your breath present. An inhalation brings you up. As you exhale, you release. Right knee comes down, left leg comes in, spark. And then switch sides. The right leg is straight, the left knee bends. Again, reset your foundation, whatever's on the ground. Bring that left shoulder to the inside of the knee. Stay here, palm to palm. Or take that left hand around the left leg. Left hand grabs the right. Right shoulder draws forward. Right hip draws back. Breath is present. This left foot can always turn out to the side. Press the right big toe mound forward. Use the legs. Use the breath. As you inhale, bring yourself up. Release. Drop the left leg. Draw the right. Spark the body. Ashtanga C. The left leg is straight, the right knee bends. Sit up nice and tall. The foundation should be even on both hips, or the weight should be even on both hips. The left arm goes around the right leg. The right hand comes behind the back. You lengthen the spine, and you twist the body to the right. You may need to reset the foundation. So if this right knee draws out, try to draw the knee in and perhaps move the foot out. If you need a strap, use a strap. If you're leaning back, perhaps moving this right foot forward will help you lengthen the spine. The head is the last thing to turn, keeping freedom in the neck. Work with your breath. As you inhale, bring it back to the center. Right knee drops, left in front. Lift the hips and switch sides. Right leg straight, left knee bends. Sitting up tall, right hand to left. Left hand behind the back. Breathe in from the base of your spine. Breathe out, twisting to the left. Shoulders move apart. Let the head turn last. Feel the benefits of breathing mindfully within the twists. Strengthening the spine, massaging into the internal organs. Remember to use your feet. As you inhale, bring yourself back to the center. Drop the left knee, bring the right in. You can always add your vinyasas if you want. Bend the knees as you move into Navasana or boat pose. Don't sit on the blocks. If you have tailbone or low back problems, you can sit on a blanket. Have your knees bent. Let the shoulders drop. Draw the elbows in. Today, this might be your Navasana position. Or explore, same distance between knees and feet. You may be able to lift one leg and lift the other. Try not to let your boat sink. So if your boat's going here, you are far better off to be in this position. One leg, then the other, knees and feet equal distance apart. Keep your breath present. You may find you can hold your calves. You may find you can lift your heels. You may find that pointing your toes is an option. Your eyes roll up. Cross your legs, draw in, lean and lift. Come back down, reset the foundation, and come back into the posture. Lifting, shoulders, breath, open the chest, use the strength of the arms, challenge yourself, don't let that boat sink, thinking Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Maybe it's a day you can go into the extension, extending the arms, breathing, coming back down, other leg in front, leaning, lifting, and try that one more time. If it's a good day to try it once more for you. Remember your options. Remember that sometimes our greatest challenge in life is knowing when to back off. Human nature, we tend to push forward, and the idea is to create strength and calm, not pain and dis-ease. Coming back down, leaning. You're welcome to vinyasa, remember, at any time. And coming into Baddha Konasana. Now remember, you may need to sit on a block here to lift the hips and tilt the pelvis if you're in this position. You bring the heels in, walk the bottom out a bit from side to side. The thumbs come to the balls of the feet, the hands wrap around, and if you're able to roll the feet open, working into feet, ankles, and into hips. The elbows come in, and the body begins to fold. Now you may stay here, or you may go a little farther forward. The shoulders draw down, thinking Mula Bandha, that gentle, gentle lift, shoulders drawing out of the ears, and again, breath present. You inhale, bringing the body up, and you exhale, extend the legs out. Once more, sit up on something if you need to, or readjust. You can have the hands here, you can have the knees bent, or some of you will be able to clasp, bend the elbows, and fold the body. There's a slight bend in the knees so the legs aren't hyperextended. The shoulders are drawing out of the ears, and you may recognize this from the standing position that looks very similar. As you inhale, you bring yourself up. You exhale, release, cross and spark. Again, if you're able to come back to that boat pose or Navasana position we did, and now you may need to sit back on that blanket. You bring your legs up, the shoulders drop. Again, if this is your position, stay here, or perhaps you lift the legs, hook the arms around, and you're here. Your breath is strong, you're not letting the back round. Some of you may be able to hold the calves, some of you may be able to open the legs. Perhaps extending the legs, dropping the shoulders. Always remember, it's not about our flexibility. It's about that balance we're trying to create between our strength and our flexibility. The gaze rolls up, the neck is free, and the breath is present. You cross the legs, spark, lower down, extend the legs, come down onto your back. Adjust the head. Remember, you may need a small blanket under the neck or under the head just to keep that natural curve of your spine, not having your neck like this. You're coming down, and this is a reclined Samasthiti position or mountain pose. So just check out the natural curve of your back. Flex your feet. The left leg stays straight, and the right leg comes up in the air. Now this is where you may find that you would benefit by holding the thigh, holding the calf, or using a strap. Do what's best for you. The action is lightly drawing the hip down so you can square the hips. You press up through the toe mound, dropping the hip. You have the natural curve of your spine, and you breathe. If it's possible, you let the torso come up off the floor, keeping the hips as even as possible, keeping the shoulders even and the breath present. Keep that left foot active as opposed to rolling it out. On your next inhalation, lower the torso down. Now, just like the standing balance postures, we need to let our hip move in the socket. So we can move the hip and start drawing the leg out. Some of you may find that you can come into this position. Some of you may be able to hold the foot and take the leg out. Try not to roll over like this. Try to keep that foundation as strong and as even as you can. If it's a good day to turn the head in the other direction, turn the head. Your next breath in brings everything back to the center, squaring shoulders and hips as much as you can. And exhale brings you up if it's possible. If it hurts neck and shoulders, keep the head down. The head comes down, and as you exhale, you lower that right leg down. If it hurts your back, bend the left knee and lower the leg. You repeat everything on the other side. So as you inhale, that left leg comes up. Remember, try to square up the hips and shoulders. Keep the natural curve of your spine. You can stay with the torso down or drop the hip. Come up from the core of the body. Drop the shoulders. Keep the right leg active, even if it means bending the knees slightly. Keep the breath present. Lower the torso down, bend the knee to let the hip move in the socket. It may be moving the hip here. This right hand can be on the right thigh or on the ground, but it is part of your foundation, so know how you're using it. It might be a day where the leg can straighten and the gaze can go the other way. Work with your breath. Keep the mind present. When the mind is present, the risk of injury is much less. Bring everything back to the center. Reset. An exhalation can lift the torso up if it's a good day for neck and shoulders. An inhalation lowers you down. You exhale, lowering that left leg, but remember, right knee can bend. Lower, lower, lower. Bend the knees. Either let the knees rock a bit from side to side, or you may want to bring the thighs up into your chest. Just see what would be good for you. We'll move into our hip lift. So you place your feet on the floor. You have your heels below your knees and feet approximately hip width apart. If you have anything under your head, just set it off to the side now. These are back bends. If you need props, the blanket goes in line and under your shoulders. Palms come to the floor, natural curve of your neck. You begin to lift low back, mid back, upper back up. Draw the shoulder blades together. Try to create stability in the shoulders. Breath is present. It's as though your feet draw to your shoulders draw to your feet. The hips lift. Try not to let the ribs flare. Center of the chest moves to the chin. If they touch, chin moves slightly away. Hips lift. Shoulders squeeze. Follow the rhythm of your breath. You slowly lower down. You pause, let the knees rock. You have a recovery breath. You check in, make sure you're practicing non-harming. You reset the foundation and bring yourself up again. Breathing, challenging yourself without hurting yourself. Some of you may want to hold the mat. Draw the hands towards the feet. Remember, if there's pain in your knees, it's often because the heels are tucked too close to the body. If there's pain in the hamstrings, it's often because the heels are too far away. If there's pain in the back, you may need to explore space between the feet. Lower yourself back down. Pause. Remember the importance of our pauses within our practice and within our life. Let the knees rock, check in. You might need thighs to chest. Repeat it once more if you like. If any of you go into the full wheel, by all means, know that you can do that. Reset the foundation. Anything on the ground, remember you're trying to create shoulder stability. You're trying to open the front body. Because it's a back bend, we do use our glutes, but we don't overuse them. Breath is present, eyes are open. Take one more breath in, one more breath out, slowly lowering yourself down. Pause, rock it out. Bring the thighs in towards the chest. You may find that you need to curl up, bringing yourself into a tiny ball. You can bring yourself up to a seated position through a vinyasa. Some of you may want to roll to the side to come up. Some of you may want to do a few spinal rocks to bring you up to a seated position. But come up the way that's best for you. Reset your foundation, so perhaps you need to sit up on the block or the blankets. Soften the knees. Walk the hips back, start moving into the forward fold that works for you. So if this is your forward fold today, be grateful for that. Perhaps you can go a little bit deeper. Be grateful for that. Follow the rhythm of your breath. Take one more breath in, one more breath out. Bring yourself back to a seated position. Find your way into our last three closing poses. You either sit cross-legged. Some of you may like to sit in half lotus, one leg up. Some of you may like to sit in full lotus. And I encourage you to explore crossing your legs in opposite directions to keep the hips as even as possible. The arms go behind the back. You can hold the elbows. If it's possible to hold the feet, you can hold the feet. The chin drops down. You release the air from the lower belly and begin to curl forward. The eyes are open. That little lift of the pelvic floor, the belly drawing towards the spine, the chin drawing towards the chest, following the rhythm of your breath. Long, full Ujjayi breaths, rekindling the heat within the body, bringing yourself back up to a seated position, releasing the hands to the legs, palms up, arms straight, thumb and index finger touch, sternum lifts, chin drops, natural curve of your spine, eyes open, breath present, breathing in and breathing out, letting the mind follow the rhythm of the breath, finding stillness in the mind, stillness in the body. The gaze lifts up, the hands come down. As you come into the final position, you can lean forward and lift. If you're in a cross-legged position, it might be here, trying to lift the bottom up, keeping the elbows in, the shoulders down. If you are in that full lotus position, flexing the feet, drawing the knees in, lowering the hands, and lifting for as many long ujjayi breaths as you can. You can always lower back down and come back up. I know all of you have 5 good breaths in you, maybe even more. As you come down, you can release, stretch the legs out, bounce into the knees. If you have been doing the vinyasas, do a final vinyasa and bring yourself down onto your mat into Savasana. As you come down into Savasana and you begin to release the ujjayi breath, take a breath in through the nose, a long, loud letting go exhalation through the mouth. Surrender the practice. Let the breath return to a normal breath. Remember that the practice is like a life cycle. It begins with an inhale, ends with an exhale. No 2 practices are the same. Try to let go of the attachment to the perfect practice. Try to let go to the attachment of the practice that wasn't perfect. Try to find contentment with what was and what is. Give yourself 2 more long, deep breaths in. 2 more long, deep breaths out. Slowly awareness begins to return. Allow gentle movement back to your body however you need it to return, moving fingers, toes perhaps. You may need to bend the knees, let them rock a bit just to check in with your back. If it's comfortable, slowly bend the knees, roll over to one side, remembering to support your neck and your bottom arm. Take a breath or 2 as you begin your transition back to your day. Always remember to take the kindness you show yourself on your mat and extend it out into the world. Slowly find yourself back to a seated position. Bring your hands back to heart center. Take a long healing breath in. A long healing breath out. Bow your head to your own heart for a moment of gratitude to yourself for taking this time just for you today. Thank you for sharing your time and your practice with me. Namaste.